You're tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly pop and geek culture show covering movies, TV, games, and comics. Sponsored in part by Dark Iron Cosplay Designs. Now your hosts, Cody Pinnick, Sam Dunham, and Josh Harrison.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show that will talk about Bruno if it's a slow enough news day. I'm Cody, and luckily it's not one of those.
I'm Sam.
I'm Josh, and I have no superpowers, given to me by a magic house.
You can't shapeshift.
No, nothing like that.
Talk to animals.
Bummer. Yeah. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. We have a bunch of news to go over this week, but first we're going to talk about some things we've been checking out.
Check it out! Hey, Vern, know what I mean?
Aww.
I've added to the soundboard.
Man, you have been busy.
I have been busy this week. So busy that I haven't really checked out a whole lot.
I mean, you did a bunch of home stuff.
You know what? I think I took the week off from work and spent less time staring at my TV than I do on my normal work week. Just been working around the house and stuff like that. But I did get a chance to finish up Pokemon Legends Arceus. And Cody, I think you have as well. Is that right?
Yes, I've finished it.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Story.
I think. Yeah,
the story.
The story mode. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at as well.
I've not caught them all, but
yeah, we'll get to that. So so first impressions or final impressions, I guess rather. I liked it.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I actually liked the story too.
The story, it picked up at the end.
That's what I thought.
It really picked up at the end.
I was legitimately surprised at the end. Like
some of the stuff. Yeah. I mean, I saw the. We're going to spoil this a little bit. I mean, it's a Pokemon game,
yeah,
but
it's not that
big of a deal. Your guy is a guy that's been kind of helping out this survey team in feudal Japan, essentially. And at one point, he gets kicked out of the little community, and I saw that coming a mile away.
Really, I didn't see it coming.
Oh yeah, the way the main guy, the guy that was in charge of stuff, I saw that coming a mile away. Now I didn't read him as like British until the very end when his very proper enunciations disappeared, and he was like, "Guys, we gotta get out of here. We gotta go."
I didn't read him as British at all.
I read him as a British expat.
The professor guy?
No. I think his name is Kamado or something like that. It's like
I don't. I still don't see it.
See, I read him as British because
he wears like samurai armor.
Well, but then at the end he was wearing medieval armor.
It was still kind of samurai looking.
Agree to disagree, but it reminded me of that Fensler Films G.I. Joe with the guy, the pork chop sandwiches, where the guy runs in and yells, "God, kids, we gotta go! It's on fire! We gotta get out of here!"
But it was almost a heel turn.
It was a little bit.
I was surprised that a Pokemon game went there. This game goes there a lot.
It goes there quite a bit. Yeah, they do mention, hey, you're gonna be out in the wild, and these Pokemon could kill you. They do say kill and die.
Yeah. Which I think we covered that.
We covered that before, but it's been a few weeks, so I figured we'd bring that up again.
That witch lady was cool.
Yeah.
That was a cool character design.
Yes, very much so.
There's a lot of good designs.
A lot of really good designs.
So I'm glad you guys liked it, because I remember you were you both kind of seemed initially on the fence.
Yeah.
When it was coming out.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I felt burned so bad by Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
But
once you started playing, you pretty much got into it.
Yeah.
It took me a while to warm up to it. There was a point in the game where I was pretty well deadlocked and couldn't do anything. I couldn't get money to catch Pokemon. I couldn't catch Pokemon because I didn't have any money. And every time I had both, one or the other, I would get beaten into the ground and lose whatever balls or money that I had. And it was so frustrating.
I don't think I ever died. Except to bosses.
Oh, I did.
I don't think I did once.
I don't play conservatively in these games. I pretty much just run in head first, and if I die, I die. Oh well. But there was a point where I was so frustrated I almost put the game down and didn't come back to it. I had to set it down for the night because it was just so frustrating. I'm glad I stuck with it. The game does go in some pretty interesting places. I'm in the post game now. There is more story after the end of the story.
Yeah, I haven't touched it yet, but I'm going to.
Yeah, I finally have gotten. I'm almost to the end. I'm actually deadlocked at one spot because you have to find that is supposed to be considered a very common crafting material, wood, but it's not anywhere that I can find.
It's usually near trees.
Well, I've looked around a whole lot of trees.
I mean, it's not super common, but it's not super rare
Well,
either.
I've found one and I need 3. And I need that to progress to the next final bit of the post game. But I'm enjoying it. It's a good game.
The loop is super addicting.
It is.
Yeah, collecting a bunch of Pokeballs, crafting a ton of balls, going out there, catching monsters, coming back, getting your money to buy more Pokeballs, to go out there to catch better Pokemon, to get better Pokeballs. It's a very
a good
tasty loop.
It's a very good gameplay loop. I will agree with that.
Even when the story was interesting, there's a lot of times where I was just like, well, I just want to go out here and catch and just catch some guys. I don't care if the sky is purple right now or whatever.
Right, yeah. Yeah, there was that whole section at the end where it was like pretty much locked you into this is the end game and you need to kind of follow these steps. I'm like, I just kind of want to catch some stuff. I wasn't really...
Which, I mean, it let you, in the game's defense, it let you do that.
It does let you do that, yeah. That's very true.
I think the time-space distortions are neat.
They are neat. Yeah. They kick my butt.
Yeah.
They're pretty tough. I like the integration of the lore of a lot of the higher end Pokemon, like Palkia and Dialga and all of them. I think I really dug it. I really dug. The story was good. And that's not something that happens often in a Pokemon game.
Yeah, like I said, I was so burned by Sword and Shield, I was almost done with the franchise.
Same here.
I was like one bad game away from being like, well, maybe I don't like Pokemon
I think
anymore.
we both said that on the show a while back, that, this was kind of the last
hope.
straw.
Yeah, and they got me. They pulled me right back in.
Yeah, now, do you think that they're going to add any DLC or anything like that to this game?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think it's done well enough that it would make sense.
Yeah,
I mean, the game has sold really, really, really well.
Yeah, I think this is a game that could be potentially evergreen, at least for a while.
Like Breath of the Wild.
Oh, yeah, exactly, like Breath of the Wild. So we might not see something for maybe a year, but just as people start to kind of fade or move on from Pokemon, they'll get you right back.
Oh, it looks like trash, too.
Oh, yeah, no, it looks really bad.
It looks
the
awful.
graphics are really bad. I was going to give it the benefit of the doubt because I thought it was supposed to be like a painterly kind of old-timey looking look, but no, it's just bad.
Yeah,
it's bad graphics.
All the outfit designs are super pixelated on there for some reason.
Yeah, it's not great.
Textures wiggle weird a lot. It looks bad, but don't let that keep you away because it's still
Do
good.
you think maybe they kind of rushed it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There was a Pokemon that accidentally had I forget which one it was, but they recently put out a patch.
It's that little pink Sakura one.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, the catch rate on that was cranked up so high it was nearly impossible to catch.
It was during a certain time of day. It was impossible to catch.
Yeah, It was really bad. And I mean, I found a couple bugs. I've shared those bugs with you. I was able to walk through a bunch of people where you're not really supposed to do that, and I also found a Pokemon in the air that really wasn't supposed to be in the air
and not moving in that particular jerky way either.
Yeah, no, it was very herky jerky around. It was pretty.
You know what?
Pretty rough.
Gyarados was living his best life. Okay,
he was. Yeah, he was swimming through the air in a very.
I mean, he's technically a water flying type.
I guess he is. That is true.
He does look like an Asian dragon.
Yeah.
This is one of the first Pokemon I didn't play through with a Gyarados in my party the whole time.
Oh, nice.
I just didn't get one early enough to where it made sense.
Yeah.
My water type the whole time was the otter guy.
That one.
Weasel or whatever.
Oh, Bootseol or whatever. Yeah. The one with the propeller tail or what have you.
And he's wearing a hot dog bun.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. You know what? It is funny. I caught a Sudowoodo, that fake tree-looking guy, and his face portrait in like the Pokemon box screen. Just looks like a hot dog. Just looks like a hot dog with a smiley face.
Suda, like it's always weird because he's like, you'd think he'd be a grass type, but
No,
no,
rock.
Yeah.
He's this rock.
That's his
thing.
whole gimmick.
Yeah, he's a fake tree, and that's all it is.
That's why it's called pseudo widow. Pseudo as in fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all I've been doing. Between that and watching a bunch of YouTube videos, basically, I went back and rewatched some of the. Well, that's why I put the clip on the board. I rewatched some of the Neil Cicierega and his group of filmmakers, Ernest podcast.
I've not seen that.
Oh, it's super good. They went through and watched every Ernest movie. and
Wow.
did like a super deep dive of each one in chronological order. So you get to see the quick rise and very gradual decline of the Ernest movies.
The Ernest P. Worrell franchise.
Yeah. Know what I mean? I argue that Ernest Goes to Jail is the best one of the bunch. I know everyone likes Ernest Scared Stupid.
I've never seen any of them.
Oh, you're missing out. I mean, they're stupid, but you're missing out.
They were a big part of my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
My mom took us to see Scared Stupid in the theater.
Yeah, there's the first four at least are surprisingly good because they had Disney backing them.
Yeah.
And then they went independent, and it did not. Diminishing returns, I believe, is the term.
Yeah.
I feel like my mom found him obnoxious, and that's why we never watched
Well, I mean,
it.
that's kind of his point.
That's kind of the thing, though.
I think that I could be wrong, but I think that is the reason why I have not seen any of them.
I mean, in Ernest Goes to Jail, you have the fact that he got to play a character who wasn't
Ernest. Yeah. Although he does play some other characters in some of the other movies. That's where I found Dr. Otto in the Riddle of the Gloom Beam, which I talked about like maybe a year and a half ago, which was the first canonical appearance of Ernest, but he was one of the personas of Dr. Otto, this evil mad scientist with a hand on top of his head. It also played by...
He's like that guy from My Hero Academia with the hands all over him.
Oh, Shigarashi.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's the leader of the villains.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the podcast itself, it's like a video podcast. All three of the guys are dressed up like Ernest through every episode.
Like with
And
the
it's
jean, like with the jean vest
and the tan ball cap. Oh yeah. And the show's called Ernest Roulette because they spin a roulette wheel, but it always lands on the next chronological Ernest movie. It's very good. It's very funny, and they have some really good, insightful stuff because they're filmmakers, so they kind of have that kind of angle to it, and it's surprisingly deep for a podcast about Ernest.
You could say it was Ernest.
It was.
It's a very earnest podcast.
They were
about
very
Ernest.
earnest about Ernest.
Boo.
Also, the P in Ernest P. Worrell stands for Power Tools.
Okay.
Canonically, because of an old ad that he did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway,
For like Ace Hardware.
yeah, for like an Ace Hardware, like a local Ace Hardware or something like that. Yeah, because that's where he got his start. He did a million ads before
As
he
the
had
character?
as the character before he had his show and then his
Movies.
He strikes me as a Clint McElroy kind of guy.
Yes, very much so. But he was like classically trained. He was a classically trained actor. He went to like Juilliard. He like knew Robin Williams when they were both at like the Strasberg Center or something like that. Like they were like he was big time, and yet he spent all of his time playing Ernest.
It's what the people wanted.
Ernest and
Apparently.
Slinky Dog, which is basically Ernest, and also Jed Clampett in that one Beverly Hillbillies movie, who's basically Ernest.
Yeah. The guy that was Larry the Cable Guy kind of did the same thing. He tried to make a career as being a normal stand-up comedian, and it didn't work. And then he came up with the Cable Guy character,
Right.
And people loved it, and that became his whole life for a hot minute.
He's an Ernest who sucks.
Yeah.
You know what? I think Larry the Cable Guy might be an Ernest who sucks.
So anyway,
There's our episode title right there. Larry the Cable Guy is an Ernest who sucks.
There we go.
let's see. We checked out a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
We watched Encanto.
Oh, yeah. Very good movie.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
I've been on the edge of watching it a second time several times. I haven't actually pulled the trigger, but
It's very, very good. I like that there's no clear villain in it. I mean, I guess you can kind of say the grandmother a little bit, but it's more generational
trauma.
Or
than
just
anything.
trauma in general.
Yeah.
I mean, because she was traumatized too.
Everyone in that movie was a little traumatized here and there.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody gets a little traumatization as a treat.
Just a little trauma.
Just a skosh of
I mean,
trauma.
the grandmother did watch her husband get killed by, soldiers. But anyway.
Pretty raw stuff for a Disney movie.
Just the violence.
Yeah.
The unspecified bad stuff happening.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I read into it a little bit after I watched the movie, and it's set in Colombia at the turn of the century, where there was like two warring political factions in the country, and that's basically why they had to run.
Yeah, after the movie, I'm like, what event is this actually? And I'm like, oh, it could have been a lot of things.
Yeah, but all in all, it's a beautiful movie. Like,
it looks great.
the colors are vibrant, the designs, especially when you go and you actually look at everybody's like outfits and like the little details.
Yeah.
Like, the one sister has like barbells like woven into her skirt, and the one has flowers and stuff, and
But if you notice, the main girl
has everything.
she has a little bit of all of the others on her thing.
That's
because that's her power. Her power is bringing the family together.
Yeah, that was actually like the thing I read is like she actually does have a special gift. It just wasn't as evident as the other ones.
There's so many clickbait articles.
Yeah.
What's her actual gift? And it's like, you're missing the point entirely.
Yeah, basically she's going to be the next.
Abuela.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because Abuela didn't really have a gift either.
At least they didn't ever talk about
yeah.
her power.
Her, need or wish or need for a miracle, whatever, is what created everything.
Right.
And God, that song that the Strong Sister sings.
Oh, it's so good.
Very, very good.
It's the best song in the whole movie.
Lin-Manuel Miranda really knocked it out of the park with this one, which isn't terribly surprising.
Oh, yeah. And then we watched Luca.
Oh, yeah, Luca. Yes.
With the Italian fish boys.
The Pixar one.
Yeah.
It's good.
I liked it. After when we were watching it, and Alberto was all like, telling him to shut that inner voice in his head up, Silencio Bruno. My wife was like, man, a lot of stuff against Brunos in these movies.
Silencio, we don't talk about him.
Yeah. So the third movie you watched was Bruno, right?
No.
I thought that movie was funny.
It was fine. I'm not the biggest Sacha Baron Cohen fan.
I'm actually
It's hit or miss.
I'm not sure if I've actually watched that one. What was that one about?
That was the fashion designer, the flamboyant fashion designer.
Okay, yeah, I didn't watch that one.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
The joke is people in America at the time got squeamish around gay people.
Yeah.
And it's pointing a lens at that
Yes.
particularly.
Yeah, I remember the trailers and stuff for it. I just never saw it.
It's an important movie. I'm not the biggest fan of Sacha Baron
Oh,
Cohen's
yeah. No, I
comedy.
get it. I get it.
But
I think it didn't do as good as
Borat?
Borat at the time because I think people were too squeamish about it.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
I mean, I did watch that one he did, the Dictator.
That one was okay.
That one was all right.
That one actually felt more like a movie. Like
Yeah.
it actually had some story.
It had
going
some
on.
plot to it and stuff. Yeah.
Man, the new Borat was so good though.
Oh, yeah.
I
It
still
really
haven't
was.
watched it.
You
Yeah.
should watch it. It's pretty good.
It's not too bad.
The girl that plays his daughter is hilarious and like almost steals the whole movie.
I remember you saying that before.
Yep.
Because it's true.
Finished Book of Boba Fett
Oh yeah.
Oh,
because
cool.
it wrapped up.
I thought that the last episode was amazing and great, and I
Oh,
loved
yeah.
the whole dang thing.
It was pretty good. It was really, really good. I also like the fact that we finally got the mechanic's name.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, she says it. Yeah, her name's Pelly.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, her name's Pelly.
She's a standout character in the Mandalorian
What was
universe.
that?
Amy Sedaris' character, yeah.
Okay, well then, yeah.
Yeah. Also, the fact I was sitting there watching it, and Nicole's like, "I just hear Princess Carolyn. That's all I hear."
Yeah, well.
Because she voices
Yeah.
Princess Carolyn in BoJack.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But yeah, that last episode was really, really good.
Yeah, I mean it's too early to get into detail about it.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
It's too big of a thing for us to spoil at this point, but we will get into it at some point.
I've seen a surprising number of negative opinions, and I'm just like, what is wrong with you people? I loved every minute of this entire series. I don't know.
Well, it's okay to be, some folks just want to be contrarian for the sake of it. Clickbait.
And I mean, I guess I just kind of don't think about it a lot because it's just Star Wars.
Yeah.
Which I guess it's just Star Wars doesn't work for everybody. I've seen people say it's too cheesy, and I'm like, have you seen a Star Wars? Like, they're pretty cheesy.
They do. They do lean into the cheese at times.
Yeah.
They're based off of old 30s serials.
Yeah.
They're pretty.
In multiple times in Boba Fett itself, they reference a lot of different cinema. Like when Boba Fett's sitting down with his crime boss lieutenants or whatever, or pretty early on in the series, and he does this whole Godfather-esque thing where he's sitting at the end of the table and he goes you can't really, the listeners can't see it, but he scratches his neck, and the way he kind of holds himself, it's the Godfather. He's referencing the Godfather.
Oh sure. Oh yeah.
I think there's a certain kind of person, a certain kind of Arrested Development kind of person that wants every movie to be Boondock Saints in particular.
Yeah, there is a type. Yeah.
What, so they want cheesy comedy with gory action?
Yeah.
That's what they want?
Yeah.
And to see a cat get killed?
Or Pulp Fiction, but with no subtext.
Yeah, surface level
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
What's the point of that?
There's
guns go bang,
and people, there's swear words and blood.
Well, the last episode, guns go bang pretty well. Well, guns go pew. But anyway, I don't know. And then
it's the same as the Snyder Cut turned out to be pretty good apparently. But it's the same kind of person that
screamed about the Snyder Cut.
Make all my movies Boondock Saints, please.
Yeah.
No.
Meh. I really liked Boba Fett. I love that they've been pulling a lot of the animated series characters and bringing them into the live action stuff. I've been really, really enjoying that.
I haven't watched any of Clone Wars, but I knew who that particular guy, we're not going to spoil it, was.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, let's go ahead and take a break here, and when we come back, we'll get into a little bit of news. Nerd Overload is proudly sponsored by Dark Iron Cosplay Designs. Hey there, true believers. Want to be a superhero? You can!
Dark Iron Cosplay Designs specializes in foam and plastic armor suits. Dark Iron also creates custom costumes and high-quality props. More information at dicosplaydesigns.com and on Facebook at facebook.com/Dark Iron Cosplay Designs.
Dark Iron Cosplay Designs in the Marion Center Mall. Hey folks, we're back from the break. Let's go ahead and get into some news.
It's very nice.
We talked about Borat in the first half.
We did that
to
ourselves.
I mean, it is a classic.
We get it. Yeah,
it's classic.
All right, so let's go ahead and get into some of this stuff here. The first up, there are some teaser images for the Amazon Lord of the Rings TV series. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
They'll look super gorgeous and like Lord of the Rings.
Yep, it's called was it Power of the Rings?
Rings of Power.
Rings of Power.
Rings of Power.
Yeah.
And it definitely looks like they are leaning real heavy into the Silmarillion of the Lord of the Rings stuff.
I mean, might as well.
I mean, it's the few things they haven't done.
Yeah.
We should probably say what the Silmarillion is.
It's a book.
It's almost like an encyclopedia of everything about the Lord of the Rings world that's not in the Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah, it's
More or less.
basically a Middle Earth, lore history book, Bible, whatever.
Yeah, it's Tolkien's notes that they just kind of shuffled together and
Pretty
stapled
much.
them on and sold them.
It is a dry book. I haven't touched it in many years, and I hate that. book. I'm sorry, I love Tolkien, but I hate that book.
I tried, you know what? I think I've mentioned this before. I tried reading Tolkien once, and when I got to paragraph 3 of him describing like the leaves and grass
I was the same way.
of the Shire, I was like,
I mean, he paints beautiful pictures, but
I'm
he is
sure
so
he does,
dry.
But he says it takes him 4 times the amount of words that normally would to describe something. And you know what? Sometimes that's okay. All the time, no thank you. But
and there's a lot of just space where not a lot happens too. Like
right. So this
like you get every detail. Some people like that. I don't particularly.
yeah. So this Lord of the Rings, it's kind of a prequel kind of thing. Is that what it's being? Okay.
It's obviously it's going to be showing how the rings themselves got forged and whatnot, and basically the whole events of the Lord of the Rings get thrown into the works.
Okay.
They kind of have to dance around what characters they can and can't use, because I don't think they can't step on the feet of any of the stuff that Warner Brothers has the rights to.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah, so that's why they pulled so many like
deep cuts. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of characters that are mentioned that are almost godlike mythical beings by the later stuff.
Tom Bombadil could be in it.
He could. They did cut all of that.
Yeah, yep. I mean, he basically sits on his thumbs during the War of the Ring. Even though he is possibly the most powerful being on Middle Earth.
Yeah.
But he doesn't care. He just wants to hang out with his hat and his yellow boots.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of wars a-brewing, Futurama, there seems to be some issues coming up. First off, there was an announcement that Futurama is coming back.
Yep, for 20 episodes on Hulu.
And they
on Hulu.
specifically used an image of Bender
Yes, they did.
in the announcement.
Which is interesting because the next part is that the voice of Bender, John DiMaggio, is not coming back for it.
As of right now.
He could very well. They could give into his,
Is that basically what it is? He
They
just wants
low-
more money.
it's a pay thing.
He says they lowballed him.
Yeah.
Hulu lowballed him, which they probably did.
They probably did.
I mean, he's one of the most popular characters in all of pop culture.
He
Yeah.
probably looked at what he gets paid for Disenchantment for voicing Zog, and looked at what Hulu offered him and went,
No, I'm not doing that. So it's kind of been a back and forth between Hulu and DiMaggio. And you know what? Just pay the actors.
Yeah.
Just pay your actors. That's all you got to do.
Well, they
you got the money for it.
This kind of happened the last time they did a revival for Futurama. A lot of the voice actors weren't sure if they were coming back.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, he'll come back.
Though this happens with the Simpsons voice actors
does.
every couple of
Harry
years.
Shearer
too.
is a curmudgeon-y old man who argues about his money every time this contract comes up.
And he literally just phones in his lines.
He does. That's all he does. Yeah, but no, I'm sure they'll work something out here at the end. But as of right now, they are actively looking for replacements for the voice of Bender, and it's not going to work.
No, it's not. It's not going to be the same at all. That's like replacing Billy West. Like
Yeah.
I know Billy West does a lot of voices in the show, and I know John DiMaggio pretty much just does mostly just Bender.
He does a couple of others.
Yeah, but they all virtually sound the same.
They all, yeah. He's one of those voice actors
flexo.
that, he's that voice actor that, there's two kinds of voice actors. The ones that can do a million different voices, like your Dan Castellaneta's.
Your
and
Tara
Strong's. And then you have the actors that are known for doing one voice, like Yeardley Smith. That's just her voice. Lisa Simpson?
Yeah, she's got like a murder podcast.
Yeah.
And it's just her, and it just sounds like Lisa Simpson telling you about murders.
Right.
Lisa Simpson would have a murder podcast.
Oh, yeah,
She would, absolutely.
that tracks.
Yeah, but the point is, John DiMaggio, you hire him because he sounds like John DiMaggio.
Yeah.
You don't hire him because he can do a million different voices.
Yeah, he's not like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know Tom Kenny doesn't have the best range, but there
he
are
can
lots
at
of
least do some.
He's got pretty. I mean,
Decent.
there are times I don't know he's in things.
I mean,
Right.
SpongeBob is pretty different than Squanchy.
freaking, he does Squanchy?
Yeah.
Oh man, I should have known that.
Yeah. All right, so speaking of cartoons, they made an announcement for the Disney Plus series X-Men 97. Apparently, it is the animated series. It picks up right where the previous animated series left off. The one all the way back from, let's see,
97.
97, yeah. And that's perfect.
You know, I'm excited, and I really hope it looks just as bad as the original show.
Oh, yeah, I hope the animation is exactly the same. I hope everything is exactly the same. I've heard they're getting a lot of the voice actors back, speaking of voice actors.
I was going to say, it'd be really weird if they didn't get the original, all the voices back.
Everyone that's available, I believe they're trying to get back. And great.
You know, if they're gonna recast Bender, they should recast him with a Hispanic voice.
I mean,
because
he is Bender.
B. Rodriguez.
Yeah, he was made in Mexico.
Yeah.
At least they'd have a story out of it.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't do it.
But they shouldn't. Yeah, they
But
shouldn't.
if they have to do it,
do something.
do something that's at least wildly different.
Don't just find someone that can do a John DiMaggio impression.
Yeah.
Come up with a reason for him to sound different. Yeah,
but don't do it.
I do,
but then don't do it.
I do
Yeah.
like it, like in shows when they like acknowledge that a voice actor has changed. It always cracks me up.
Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and Bender is a robot, so it wouldn't be that weird.
It's not that. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not that
I
different.
mean,
But it would still suck.
Like that time he thought he was a penguin.
Oh, sure. Yeah. All right. So last of the non-Nintendo news, we have a lot of Nintendo news to go over, but this one's pretty big. This was actually from a couple weeks ago. Sony has bought the game developer Bungie. Bungie was known for basically
The original Halo.
making Halo, and now they're making
Destiny.
Destiny. I almost said Anthem, but Destiny is the one that they do. And Sony,
Anthem's dead.
yeah. But they bought Bungie for an undisclosed.
No, there was a number, and it was way big. But
Yeah, but some people were saying that this might have been in response to the Microsoft
buying Activision, Blizzard, King, ABK.
But apparently this had been in the works for months, and it just kind of happened to coincide.
This is probably a reaction to Microsoft buying Bethesda.
Yeah.
More than likely that's what this is. And Sony has said that this is not the end of the acquisitions. They're going to just keep buying up stuff. And while I would like to see Bungie have the financial backing of a large company again, there is a part of me that's very squidgy about, like, do I really want all these mega corporations buying up everything?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a good thing.
And it looked like a weak move compared to
It kinda
buying
did, yeah.
Activision Blizzard. Like, this is like if your neighbor bought a new fancy RV and your reaction to it was to go out and buy, a pretty nice tent.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Because Bungie, they make good games. They don't make a lot of games.
But yeah, they're not a huge game publisher. They don't have 50 franchises, and
They have one franchise that they work on at a time, basically. And
yeah, that wasn't a slight against Bungie. They're great.
No, they're great.
Yeah.
But some companies pump out a lot of pretty good games, and some companies make one very good game. And Bungie makes one very good game.
And let's be honest, Destiny's it's pretty much Halo. Also.
It is. Oh, sure. It is. Absolutely.
It's class-based Halo.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part. All right, so let's go ahead and get into some of this Nintendo news. There was a Nintendo Direct this past, what was it, Wednesday?
Yeah.
Wednesday,
Yep.
yes.
The first one of 2022.
Yeah, and they announced a lot of games that are going to be released here within the next 6 months.
But not the ones you wanted to hear about.
Not exactly, no, but there are a lot of surprises, a lot of good stuff on there.
A lot of good stuff. Just not anything that you wanted to hear about.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah, so
I mean, I'm mostly
except
talking
for
about
Splatoon.
myself.
Like Splatoon.
I do like Splatoon. I do like Splatoon.
yeah, we should go ahead and talk about Splatoon. So yeah, they showed off the new Salmon Run single player
No, it's a cooperative multiplayer
mode.
Yes.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yes, Salmon Run in Splatoon 2 was a horde-based
multiplayer. Almost kind of a capture the flag horde mode.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
You got to take those eggs to the thing.
Yeah, you got to you got to collect all the eggs and put them. You have a.
It's like Salmon Row almost, right? Kind of the eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're little little salmon eggs. And
It was honestly the best part of Splatoon 2.
Oh yeah, it was. It was
sure.
fun and frustrating, and
And you could only play it on certain days of the week.
Yes.
yes.
The very short amount of time that I owned Splatoon 2, that was kind of the only mode I played.
But also, you would get really frustrating when you got really bad people in your groups.
Oh, sure, because it's all randomized. Because it can be team based if you plan it out.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. If you planned it out better, and then if you got a good team, you could just run with it.
Yeah.
And some of those bosses could be pretty tricky.
Oh
too.
yeah, because the game they give you specific weapons. Everyone is randomized a weapon, which is your role changes depending on what gun you're using.
Yeah. But this, for Splatoon 3, they basically just announced, hey, we're doing this again. And also there's a Godzilla-sized fish monster.
Salmonid. There was a couple new bosses, too.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it tracks. It makes sense.
Yeah. I still want to know some of the more particulars about it. I want to know who the new, TV hosts that tell you what map it is are going to be.
I'm hoping there's a
the
bunch
new
of stuff.
Yeah.
the new Callie Marie.
Yeah, the new story. What's the new story? Because there's actually a surprising amount of story in Splatoon.
There is. There's quite a bit of lore
wasn't
in that.
this one called Rise of the Mammalians or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's going to be monkey people or
something. Oh boy, another race to unlock for multiplayer.
Yeah.
Oh boy, another set of amiibos that I'm going to have to get.
Hey, I'm right there with you because I have all the Splatoon amiibos too.
They didn't announce any amiibos.
Well, that is true.
Yet.
That's very true. So next up, let's talk about the Kirby game, Kirby and the Forgotten World,
Forgotten Lands.
Forgotten Lands. That's what it is. But they showed off a little bit more of the gameplay mechanics with some new modes that Kirby gets.
It looks surprisingly deep for a Kirby game.
It does. It really does. He turns into a car.
Well, he puts his mouth around a car, and then the car moves.
I saw a lot of memes.
It's very gross.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of memes about Kirby doing this stuff.
It has birthed a million DeviantArt pictures.
It's very body horror.
Oh, yeah.
Usually they hide that stuff at the end of the Kirby game.
But no, in this one, Kirby usually absorbs an enemy and gains its power, and he puts on a cute hat, or he just kind of, something.
Or gets a weapon.
Something simple like that. But in this one, there are certain objects around the game world.
Like large objects,
like a vending machine or a car or something like that, that he just kind of wraps himself around and stretches himself out super wide. And it's weird. It's weird.
It is very weird.
It's like Cappy, but with body horror.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But along with that, they also showed off some of the upgrades. I guess that's one of the new things that they're doing is there's upgrades, like you can pay to upgrade some of the other. I mean, not
the powers.
The powers. That's what I mean. But not like with real money, but like with in-game currency or whatever. But yeah, it looks good. I'm probably going to pick it up when it comes out here in about, what is it, a year or so? Or...
No, it comes out next month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Next month is March, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it comes out next month.
Oh, why did I think that it was near the end of the year? Oh, weird. Okay. Yeah, well, I will probably pick it up. So there. All right.
Yeah, it's the next big release coming out is Kirby.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. Next up, Fire Emblem Warriors.
Oh, what a groan.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm glad they got that out of the way first thing in the direct because boy, I am not interested in this.
They started off with a thud with the direct.
To be fair, Fire Emblem does kind of lend itself to
But they already did one.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
This is the second one.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize they'd done a Fire Emblem Mushu before.
This one is just based on the last game that came out, which was a very good game. I'd much rather play like a sequel to that than like these half-baked Muso games.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I put a lot of time into the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, the Zelda Muso. A lot of the attacks that they showed off in this trailer look exactly like the ones from the Zelda game. Like, exactly. There's an archer that does that exact attack. And it's, yes.
I mean, the developers of those games have been basically making the same game with different hats for a long time.
Yeah.
That's very true. That's very true.
I'm from here on out banning Nintendo from making any more Warriors games.
Well, they're not making them.
Well, they pay somebody.
They're paying
somebody
someone
to
else
do
to
it.
make
Yeah.
them.
Unless it's Mario, just because that would be so weird that I'd want to see it.
I mean, I was pretty on the fence about it when the Rabbids Mario game came out, and I was like,
Oh, that's not a movie. That's not.
I know,
Oh.
but you're talking about weird Mario games.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Mario with guns? I don't know. But it actually turns out to be a decent tactical shooter.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so Switch Sports, which is the spiritual successor of Wii Sports, which is a game that is a lot of fun.
Yeah, this looked really neat. Honestly.
Yeah, it's really cool. So
Hey,
it's,
finally a reason for me to use my Joy-Cons.
yeah, right, exactly. So this, what it does is it has a bunch of different sports games: bowling, volleyball, soccer.
Everybody knows what Wii
Everybody
Sports
knows what-
was.
yeah, they do.
They play it in old folks' homes. This is the new version of that.
Yeah, and it looks like a lot of fun, and I can't wait to try it out.
I can't wait to cheat at boxing like I did in Wii Sports.
It uses the leg.
Yeah, right.
It uses the leg strap from Ring Fit for the soccer game,
Oh,
so you can
that
swing your leg around.
That stupid leg strap, it never stays up. It never stays up. I do Ring Fit every now and then, probably not as much as I probably should, but it always falls off.
I've never had a problem with it.
Really?
No.
Well, maybe that's just me then. Maybe I just have real slick legs.
Yeah, you got those slippery legs.
I do.
I played that fitness boxing the other day for the Wii.
Oh yeah,
Or
how
not
was
the
that?
Wii, the Switch.
Yeah, how
it's
is it?
pretty neat.
Yeah.
It has licensed music in it, but the licensed music doesn't have lyrics, and it sounds like it's a MIDI.
Oh,
So
weird.
like that really stinks. But the game itself is like fun, just doing punches in the air at
Oh,
the right
that's-
time.
Okay, all right.
It doesn't
That's cool.
it doesn't track which punch you're doing super well.
Oh,
But
okay.
like if you're not playing right, then that defeats the whole purpose. It's a fitness game.
It's right.
So like
yeah.
yeah, you can game it, but that's not
the point.
That's not the point.
Yeah. Let's see. So a big surprise for me was the JRPG Live Alive, or was it Live Alive or
It's Live Alive.
Live
yeah.
Alive?
I always
Yeah.
thought it was Live Alive before, but
I
then
always
they,
thought it was Live Alive.
but they said
of
it
all
out
that,
loud.
but-
They said Live Alive.
Yeah,
so-
but anyway, so this is a Japanese role-playing game that was never released in the West. It was originally on the Super Nintendo, and they are giving it the 2.5D
the Octopath Traveler.
Oh,
uh,
touch.
touch
Yeah.
to it.
And this game is
yeah,
is super cool.
yeah,
'Cause-
because it takes place at different points in history.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 separate stories from different time periods, or basically different genres. Like
Yeah.
there's a Western one, there's a samurai one.
There's a caveman one.
But yeah, a caveman one which has no dialogue. It's all they speak in like hieroglyphics
Yeah,
and miming. But it's like 6 or 7 distinct stories with their own JRPG kind of combat with its own twists that do all kind of merge together for a final story at the end.
yeah,
It's very good and very cool.
yeah. I've only heard about this game, but yeah, it seems very, very neat.
Yeah. There's an English patch of the Super Nintendo version if you look around, and normally I would say check it out, but now you can just
You
wait.
can just get the new one. Yeah, yeah. It's next up. They had a big reveal for the Mario Kart 8. There's a whole DLC pack that's coming.
The deluxe pack or whatever they're calling it.
It's a lot of tracks.
They're
Oh,
just
yeah.
adding a million different
It's
tracks.
almost 50 tracks of redone Mario Kart tracks.
No characters, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
I mean, there are a lot of characters in Mario Kart 8, but also it could stand to have, some new blood injected
Yeah.
into it.
Oh, sure.
Because the
sure.
last 2 DLCs they did, or if Deluxe counts as a DLC, they added a character from outside franchise. I thought maybe they would do this for that too, but
And who knows, they might still do that down the road, but
I mean, they said
knows?
they're supporting it until 2023, which is a lot longer than I thought they were going to support it.
yeah. And
I was kind of hoping they were just going to make a new Mario Kart.
well, maybe they're not quite there yet, and this is kind of the hold them over until the new one comes out, basically.
Yeah.
And what I like about it is all of the extra tracks are free if you pay for the online expansion pass.
Yeah.
Which is good. It gives you another reason to have that. That's not the...
Yeah, it's still not
N64
enough.
games. No, it's
still
not.
It still doesn't cover the price of it.
It's not, but it's getting there.
Yeah.
It's getting there. Let's see. Chrono Cross. They're porting that over from, what was that, a PlayStation game?
Yes,
Yeah.
PlayStation 1.
Yep.
They're calling it a remaster. Looks like an AI upscale, which is
It does.
fine.
Yeah, it looks fine. But
We gotta talk about Earthbound real quick.
yeah, let's talk about
They
Earthbound.
put Earthbound on the Switch Online, NES, Super Nintendo. It's there right now. You can play it.
Yeah, Earthbound classic RPG. This it was very RPG heavy, this direct.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, very classic with a weird twist because it's set in modern day. It's you're using baseball bats and stuff like that instead of swords or what have you.
I was trying to figure out what about this game hit me so hard as a kid, or like the first time I played it. And I'm like, was it because it's funny? No, I played other games that were funny before. And it dawned on me, it's because it's the first game I ever played that has like a heart and soul.
Yeah, the story is really, really, really good in Earthbound. I remember playing it the first time, and it was.
It's such a auteur's like singular vision. All the dialogue is very specifically written in a certain way that just makes it really good.
Yeah, and
Tell us more about how much you love the Mother series.
Yeah, I could do the whole podcast.
And what's good about this is that the creator is also very excited that his games are being re-released so that more people can play them.
Yeah,
he released his own separate little video.
I think that was in the Japanese.
Oh,
direct.
it was? Okay, that's what that was. Okay, but anyway,
Because he's kind of a minor Japanese celebrity.
he is. Well, those he created the Hobonichi planners.
Yeah.
which is kind of a big deal
And
if you're
it was-
into like planning stuff.
And he was a famous copywriter.
Yeah.
He came up with the log lines for a lot of Ghibli movies and like
Yeah, he's
Mother isn't
Itoy
his,
is a big deal over there.
Mother isn't actually his only video game too. He's got a fishing game
Oh, right. Yeah.
where you go fishing with him.
Yeah. Let's see. A couple of quick hits here. We have Klonoa. I recognize the character, but I've never played the game or would have put the name with the character.
He was this minor.
Namco character.
Yeah, he was like, at a time when they kept trying to come up with the new video game
Like
kind of mascot like
games.
a new Crash or a new Spyro. I mean, it seemed a lot like kind of in the same vein of like the Gex games and stuff like that.
He's very Kirby-esque.
Okay.
Yeah.
His games are super Kirby-esque, I would say. And also, they're both there's two really good ones, and then there's like a bunch of spin-off ones that aren't as good for like Game Boy Advance and stuff. But the PlayStation original and the PlayStation 2 ones are both very excellent 2D, 2.5D platformers, and that's what this is remakes of those two games.
And that's pretty great.
He's a little black and white rabbit looking
I
kid.
think he's technically a cat, but looks like a
He
rabbit.
looks like a rabbit.
He has long ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky, they're porting it onto the Switch.
I don't
which
know how.
I have no clue how they're going to do that. It's not going to look good.
I thought it was going to be Cloud
Yeah.
for Cloud, but it was not. I don't know how they're going to do it. It's not. I don't imagine that it'll be good, but we'll see.
No, it won't be good. It's going to look like hot garbage, but they did it.
Speaking of which, they did release those Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3 for Cloud.
For Cloud,
And I think
yes.
it's weird that they release a game just for one Final Fantasy character to play.
That's a good joke. That's a good one. That's a good one. Speaking of Disney, they
He's not even in Kingdom Hearts that much.
He's not. He's just in that. He's in the Coliseum levels.
He's
and
not
that's
even
it.
in the third one.
Yeah, right. No, so Disney is doing a kart racing game, like Mario Kart, called Disney Speedstorm, and it looks pretty interesting.
It's by Gameloft, which is a maker of questionable mobile game titles.
Yeah, but you can race as Mulan and also Jack the
Sparrow.
Pirate,
Jack
Sparrow
Sparrow.
the pirate man.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
I wanted a character list with this, but
that
didn't.
would have been cool. But
The-
no.
I mean, I
mean-
saw Sully in the trailer.
Yeah, and
Wearing a weird racing suit.
Mickey and Donald, but like,
Obviously.
can I be Bruno?
we don't talk about that.
Okay, can I be Mirabelle?
Sure, why not?
Fellow green glasses haver.
Let's see.
Her special gift is sweet drifts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
it.
surprise. Yeah, that's her gift after all. Was just
Was very good racing.
initial D.
All right.
Well, like we said
She
off,
will take your pink slip.
like we were talking off mic. You think they'll have any of the Cars characters in this?
Yeah, right.
Will Lightning McQueen be a character and also a car?
Could you imagine like a Lightning McQueen sitting in another car?
You mean like Benny from Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah,
the
when he
cab?
gets-
when he gets in
the
that other
car.
car and drives a car. When the car drives a car, that would be great. I want to see that.
Because his tires were like messed up.
Oh yeah, yep. Let's see. They had a big thing about Advance Wars.
Fine. I
Yeah.
like the Advance Wars games.
Looks good.
I'm glad they're coming back because
Still kind of weird that they're called Advance Wars, where it was the Advance was for the Game Boy Advance.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
'cause
it's
it
on the
was-
Switch.
It was a franchise that existed way before in Japan, and it goes all the way back to Famicom Wars.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't they just call them like Switch Wars?
I don't know.
But who? Whatever.
Well, because it's both the Game Boy Advance games in one package.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
it's like called like re-enlisted or whatever.
Yeah,
rebooted or something. Reboot Camp. or
Reboot
something.
Camp. That's what
Camp.
it is.
I don't know. The graphics look really good. The animation looks really good. I feel like it looks like they hired Way Forward.
They
to
did.
do it. Yeah. Okay.
Way forward. Yeah, absolutely.
It definitely looks like them.
Yeah. And last one I want to bring up here is Mario Strikers. I'm really excited for this dumb soccer game.
Yes, the Mario soccer game.
Mario Sports.
Yep. I still wish it was Mario Strikers, the baseball game.
You mean Sluggers?
But Mario Strikers looks like a lot of fun. It looks like there's going to be a lot of customization of the characters, which
you
is
can-
not something I would have thought.
Wear a bunch of dumb looking armor, like
Yeah.
silly looking armor. One of
But
them
it
just
changes your
looks like-
stats, so that's kind of
It
neat.
just looks like Mario's cosplaying as Mega Man.
A little bit, yeah. There's nothing wrong with that, though.
Yeah.
I want to see a robot Mario.
It's silly and it's fun and like I hope it has as over the top animations as the previous games.
I think
did.
it's going to.
Yeah, it
I
looks
think it's
like
going to.
Because
So,
I'm
yeah.
sick of Mario sports games that have no personality, and this looks like it.
It looks like a
should.
lot of fun. All right, well, we've actually hit time, so let's go ahead and wrap things up for the week. You have been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Patreon, and TikTok at Nerd Overload Now.
You can send us an email at staff@nerdoverload.com or give us a call on the Nerd Overload hotline, 586-372-8020. Leave us a message and we might play it on the show. What's your favorite Mario sports game? That's your prompt.
That's the prompt. Sounds good. You can also find all of our back episodes on various podcast apps such as Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, and more. And finally, I'd like to thank David Pencil for the use of our intro and outro. You can find more of his stuff over at davidpencil.com. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
Oh,
Just say pizza out.
pizza out.
This show was sponsored in part by Dark Iron Cosplay Designs in the Marion Center Mall.